This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Miss GB, Tasha Jonas here at Gallagher's Gym in Bolton. Tasha, first and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. It's good to be back, back in the swing of things.
It's obviously this is the first time we've seen each other face to face since that fight with Terry Harper, ending in a draw. How does it feel to be back in the gym mode, just to kind of get back in, get rid of any cobwebs which you might have gathered over the past few weeks?
Yeah, I think the first week or so, you know, it's always tough when you get back to eating well and all that stuff. But you know, for me, it's just a delight to be here, and it's always good to be back.
When you're back in the gym now, what exactly do you work on in these initial few weeks whilst you wait to see what could be lined up for yourself? What are you doing in regards to ticking over in the gym? What work do you put in?
It's just, you know, getting the long stuff out, get the weight down, and you know, trying to get yourself into a position to be ready. You know, there's already talks of other fights possibly maybe in the future. So I've just got to make sure that I'm ready, and there's a few dates popping up and I want to be on them shows, so I've got to put myself in the best physical place to be able to say, yeah, I'm ready to go, get me a match up.
Obviously, we spoke, I think it was a day after your fight with Terry over Zoom. As I say, first time we've spoken since. Since then, you know, they had more time to think about things. I'm sure your opinion wouldn't have changed. You won the fight. But what has time done for yourself? Has it kind of made the fight just sit in your mind? You kind of think about it, or have you moved past it, just looking towards either trying to get a rematch with her at some point or looking beyond that to other fights?
Yeah, I don't think, you know, there's no point in dwelling on it. What the decision is, the decision is. I've just got to make sure it's better next time. As I say, there's other people out there. I've proved that I'm at that level. You know, there's Miss Caskell, there's Brockhouse, I can easily go up a weight. I'm a big super feather once I'm in the ring. You know, there's possibly fights with other champions. I see Matchroom's found another one, maybe Harper-Thanderz yesterday. And there's big fights out there for women's boxing, especially when you're around the super featherweight and lightweight division. Welter's pushing it a little bit, but you know that's as high as you can go, and then you know there's a load of names through in a hat, and like I say, that's what I'm back here for, to make sure I'm in the best position to say, okay, I want that one, let's go.
On the back of a performance you produced against Terry, despite the fact you never picked up the world title, obviously it's a brilliant performance from yourself. But because you don't have that title behind you now, do you think fighters will look at you even more so now and think we don't really need to give ourselves that type of a tough opposition if there's nothing on the line for us, no reward for them?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, you know, they're not the fights I'm after. I'm after the Katie Taylors, I'm after the McCaskells, I'm after the Terry Harpers, I'm after the Maybe Harper-Thanderz, I'm after, you know, Broderick, I'm after anyone who's got a title. They're the ones I want. I don't need people wanting me to be a stepping stone, or people wanting me to, you know, as a dangerous opponent. I want to be a world champion. So, like I say, I've proved myself now, and I knew I had that all along. I just needed the bit between my teeth to do it, and you know, I'm a dangerous underdog.
Just on Terry, obviously Terry, you know, the team's come out saying they're going to facing Harper-Thanderz next. WBC ordering that fight. When you heard that, was you surprised that the rematch wasn't kind of pursued a bit harder or wasn't made?
A bit of both, to be honest. I don't blame Terry for not wanting to fight me next. You know, we've seen with the Dillian White that the rematches can be made as instantly as possible. So if Terry and her team wanted that rematch straight away, we would have got it. And that's all I'll say. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone, but that's the truth.
What do you make of a fight with Katarina?
It's a good fight. Thanderz is a good boxer. You know, she's not the biggest puncher, but she's very skillful. I still think Terry wins. But yeah, it'll be a good fight to watch. And you know, women's boxing's on the rise, and you know, people are starting to appreciate the skills that we have. And I think at that level, it's nothing but skill, and that both girls will put on a great performance.
Do you believe if Terry comes through successfully, you will have the rematch, if not necessarily straight after Katarina, certainly in the near future or in her coming fights? Or do you think she will look to face other opponents and avoid it because of what a brilliant fight you both produced during fight camp?
Like again, I wouldn't blame her. But I think the idea is that she has a fight, I have a fight before the end of the year, and then we meet again. early next year. You know, like I said, you know, that's the fight I want. I've always said all along I want a WBC belt. But, you know, any belt is good enough for me now in the position I'm in. So my profile's raised. I'm happy to be back, you know, mentioned in the likes of Katie Taylor, mentioned in the likes of McCaskill, mentioned in the likes of Terry. And yeah, I just want to keep that movement going forward and fight for anyone who's got a belt.
We obviously saw the McCaskill-Brackhouse rematch announced, I believe it was 2 days ago now. What do you make of that one, Tasha? Again,
it was another great fight, another close fight. Two girls at the top of their game. I know a few people thought Brackhouse was a bit unlucky. Personally, myself, probably the same. But, you know, again, it's a great fight to be had, and the great thing about, you know, Eddie and the way he's promoting women at the minute, he's got all the best females in the weight division at his stable. So, you know, them championship fights, which are sometimes a bit difficult to make in the men's, aren't as hard to make in the women's, especially when we're all under one promoter.
Just away from your weight, but sticking with the women's boxing, Marshall ranking was announced yesterday. Again, just what do you make of that fight? How do you see that one playing out?
To be honest, I haven't seen that much of Hannah Rankin. You know, she comes across as a great girl. She's been in the sport a long time, so you've got to be wary of people's experience and what they bring to the table. But, you know, Savannah's someone I've come alongside up through the amateur ranks, and I've known Savannah literally since she was a kid, and she is probably the most powerful punch out of anyone I've ever sparred. So, you know, I think she's shown that in a pro bout so far, and she's got like an awkward style to go with that, tall, you know, dangerous. That's a hard opponent to beat, and I think she beat Hannah Rankin.
Tasha, we'll leave it there, and I will leave you now to enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate your time as always. I'm sure I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Oh, cheers. Thanks for having me. Cheers.